What's up, guys? It's the last day of a short 30% off window using code espresso over at gfuel.com. If you want to check out any starter pack, tub, or can, now's a great time to do so. I just restocked my own stash of hype sauce, which is a raspberry lemonade flavor I'd definitely recommend. So if you want to check that or anything else out, links in the description below if you're interested. So at this point, nothing's really happened in the world of Modern Warfare with Season 4. We normally see Mondays reserved for the trailer or the blog post detailing the upcoming season, but given the silent nature of those items currently and the fact we haven't seen that, and as well the update is going live on Wednesday for the majority of the users in the world, going live around 11 p.m. Pacific Standard Time tomorrow, so 2 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. GMT, and elsewhere in the world on Wednesday. So with that, I would imagine that mentioned trailer and blog post comes tomorrow to round us into that new season, but while we wait for it, I wanted to take a few minutes today to talk about something else in the Call of Duty world. One thing that at least I think is rather interesting, that being Call of Duty 2020. Where's any information? When can we expect something of a reveal? And what's floating out there right now as leaks or rumors? That's what I want to discuss with you here today. So as we go along, let me hear your thoughts down below. Is there anything in particular you're hoping to see out of the next installment of the Call of Duty franchise? And as well, do make sure to hit that subscribe button if you have not done so already to stay up to date with all things Modern Warfare and Warzone with Season 4, but as well anything relating to Call of Duty 2020 on a daily basis. But anyways, 2020. Right now, we're in this sort of weird limbo period. If you follow the past few years, you see the vast majority of the games have been teased or officially revealed as of late April, early or mid-May, with last October's Modern Warfare being the latest revealed Call of Duty game of the modern marketing era for Activision. If you want to further look at this, we're pretty clear-cut and out of the waters of air quote normal right now for any kind of reveal. The past decade of games have gone as follows. Modern Warfare was revealed on May 30th of 2019. Black Ops 4 was first teased on March 8th, the earliest tease that we had, but officially revealed on May 18th. World War II was revealed on April 26th of 2017. Infinite Warfare was May 2nd of 2016. Black Ops 3 was April 27th of 2015. Advanced Warfare was May 1st of 2014. Ghost was May 21st of 2013. Black Ops 2 was May 1st of 2012. Modern Warfare 3 was May 23rd of 2011. The original Black Ops was May 18th, 2010, and then Modern Warfare 2 was May 25th of 2009. Now, when I mention the modern marketing era, I mean in the ways that we're more so accustomed to now. World at War and COD 4 and the games before that weren't so easily predictable, having reveals not done on a global platform like YouTube, but instead being shown off on show floors of various conferences and expos that wasn't such an immediate source of consumption for the viewer and thus the player if they were interested in actually taking part in that game. But over 10 years now of reveals, all of which were past the best if used by date. So the big question comes down to firstly is, well, where's Call of Duty 2020's reveal? The world's in a crazy place at the moment, there's no doubt about that. Between global pandemic shifting the work culture of almost every office complex on the planet to growing civil unrest in plenty of countries in the world, nothing really seems normal nowadays. While these things could definitely be a driving force in the timetables of reveal and what is the next installment of Call of Duty, it also may not be that main reason that we haven't seen a reveal just yet. The biggest of reasons is likely their own playbook, with this year being a strange circumstance of events that has just kind of pushed back a potential reveal date. We've talked about it here on the channel before, but Activision doesn't like marketing overlap, and from the perspective of a billion-dollar company pouring millions upon millions into advertising each event, why would you want to overlap when there's the potential to undercut performance? Thus, as nearly a decade of watching events unfold and studying them, we've kind of come to live by the rule of two, as I've dubbed it here in the past, only being a slight reference to Star Wars lore, but the rule of two comes down to and refers to 2 weeks, the amount of time in between marketed events, intervals if you will. This almost law of marketing with Activision has in the past proven to be quite accurate as a baseline. That's not to say that there haven't been longer intervals than that of 2 weeks, but the average in the earliest intervals come down to that 2-week or 14-day interval. So for the sake of understanding, if you apply that rule to the next big marketed Call of Duty event, Season 4 launching this week, you'd have sometime either Tuesday or Wednesday of the week of Monday, June 15th to work with as the next open slot in the calendar to consider. The rule of two can also though account for a week of build-up, a week of play, and then the next event to follow, which in that case would lead to, well, maybe even next week, the week of June 8th. And that's something to consider that's actually happened within Modern Warfare, that we've had 1 week of build-up and then 1 week of play, because we don't really have to account for 2 launches of DLC or content on 2 different platforms or multiple different platforms because of an exclusivity deal. But that said, we could potentially see a reveal as early as of next week, perhaps. Maybe a week after that, though. But by following that rule of two, looks to be inevitable on the very near horizon. If you looked at the calendar going the opposite way, though, you start to see why it has been so late. Because last week we had promo for Season 4, the week before that was the play period of Update 1.21 for Modern Warfare, which gave players a few new maps and some adjustments to Warzone. A week before that, there was the build-up period to when we got the information of that update we'd then have, and so on and so forth. So you can see that prime time of Call of Duty reveals, if you will, that was kind of all booked up with Season 3 content within Modern Warfare, and without any marketing overlap, would have been impossible to reveal. So in short, a reveal is definitely going to be coming soon. Now, does that say anything for the product that will be making it to shelves later this year? That's another big worry and concern that I've seen personally, and I think that's kind of just a matter of tracking down to the source. That thought is based upon the reported transition of project from Sledgehammer and Raven Software to Treyarch, which was first reported back in May of last year. And funny enough, for a short period of time, we actually knew more about Call of Duty 2020 than we did of Call of Duty 2019. While unconfirmed on any level, even until today, it still hasn't been officially stated that Treyarch is the studio handling the next title, though the evidence, of course, points towards that being the case. But if that is the case, one would rightfully imagine that, yeah, they'd have a much smaller developmental window, which could cause concern for an unfinished product. I entirely understand this thought process, and it's pretty sound logic, but where I diverge a little bit from that is that I don't think that that theory accounts for the possibility of all teams being hands-on, and that maybe the entire thing wasn't scrapped when handed over to Treyarch. The current rumors that the game will be entitled Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, which, if true, would be something that could be an outcome of a merger rather than a rebuild. Sledgehammer has had a Cold War and Vietnam era game in their pocket that they could work on and have stated they've wanted to work on for years now. In fact, that was actually what they were working on at the time of being onboarded with the Modern Warfare 3 sub-development back whenever they were first introduced into the public face of Call of Duty. That project has still been untouched and really hasn't been worked on since then, so in theory, the game very easily could have been just a Cold War era game that Sledgehammer was picking up. But with Treyarch being brought on, slap the name of Black Ops on that, get all three teams working on something, perhaps one for MP, one for story, one for co-op, and bam, you've got yourself a game that may not necessarily need a rebuild, just simply some ironing out, which is a lot less work than starting from scratch. So while I understand the cause for concern, I'm not necessarily sure that I'm thinking too much about it just yet, or at least not until we have more information or some gameplay that reflects this. And finally, I want to talk a little bit about some stuff that's recently come up that has been the talk of the town for those that are really paying attention to 2020 already a whole lot. That being the fact that rumors from industry insiders are already saying that there is remastered maps coming to Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, or whatever it ends up being called, which certainly would be an interesting thing in development, where the first thing that we learn about the game is not necessarily something that's new, but something rather returning. According to my friend Tom, previously known as the Long Sensation, he ended up saying that Nuketown, Jungle, Summit, and Firing Range have already been remastered maps that have been made for Black Ops in this upcoming year's title and introduction. He later clarified that he's not sure if these are DLC maps or if they'll be like Black Ops 4, where they're launch maps, but it seems to follow exactly in line with the Back in Black maps from Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 4. That's something that I think that I have mixed feelings on. The thing that I didn't like about Black Ops 4 and what was introduced with those Back in Black maps is that they took away from some of the original maps that you could have seen being introduced within Black Ops 4. Instead of having X amount of brand new maps introduced with the launch of a game, you had slightly less than X number of maps that are new introduced, with being filled out with those returning maps. Now granted, Nuketown was something that was added in later on down the line, but still to have the exact same maps that we had seen, in some cases multiple times throughout the Black Ops franchise already, it just wasn't really my cup of tea. So that information could sway your opinion on maybe there is some developmental turmoil, maybe it is something that we won't see a whole lot by comparison to an air quote full game. That really comes down to your own interpretation of that. And also there really isn't enough facts though to come out with that. So maybe we do see these are returning, but maybe they're additional maps on top of what we already see with a full list of maps at launch. Maybe instead of the standard number of maps, we get that standard number plus some, including those remastered. So we'll have to wait and see how all that turns out, but it's an interesting turn of events, and of course with no real official info, I think it's weird that of all the things to learn about, it's the return of those maps. But anyways, it looks like we'll be seeing some information here coming with this, and maybe even with Season 4 we get some sort of Easter egg hunt that gives us a little bit of some stealth marketing or something like that for Call of Duty 2020, because apparently Warzone is supposed to be continuing on throughout the years, not being necessarily just affiliated with Modern Warfare, or next year just affiliated with with Call of Duty 2020, but running independent alongside both of those titles and any title in the future. So maybe we end up seeing our first official reveal actually happening within the game. We'll have to wait and see how all that plays out, but anyways, that's all I really want to talk to you about, clear ups and stuff, and keep you in the loop for what could be happening very, very soon. So I'm expecting something, but for the time being, looking forward to Season 4 and what we have on offer with Modern Warfare and Warzone, but that's where we're going to wrap it up. So let me know your thoughts and feedback down there in the comment section down below. Love to hear what you have to say. And of course, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like down below. If you are still new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Modern Warfare, Warzone, and of course, Call of Duty 2020 content. We'll keep you up to date and in the loop with absolutely anything you need to know. But if you guys want to get connected with me, maybe a little further, Twitter and Instagram are the best places to do so. Practically live on both those. If you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, that link is down there in the description below. That's it. Thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.